in the chaotic aftermath of the citywide blackout. The hospital's emergency generators sputtered to life, casting long, dancing shadows down the corridors. For Nurse Clara, the night shift had just taken a terrifying turn. It wasn't just a power outage. From the upper floors, she could hear screams and the sickening crunch of something inhuman. The patients were panicking, the staff was overwhelmed, and outside, the world was descending into madness. Most people saw Clara as just a nurse, someone who fluffed pillows and administered medicine. They saw her gentle hands and her calming voice. They didn't see the years she spent as a combat medic. The tours in unforgiving war zones where quick thinking and a steady hand meant the difference between life and death. They never expected her to be the one to hold the line. As the first wave of the infected shambled through the shattered lobby doors, the hospital's lone security guard was quickly overwhelmed. Chaos erupted. Doctors and orderlies scattered, trying to barricade themselves in whatever rooms they could find. But Clara didn't run. She grabbed a heavy-duty fire extinguisher from the wall, her knuckles white. "Get the patients to the sublevel now," she yelled, her voice cutting through the panic like a surgeon's scalpel. Her colleagues stared, frozen for a second, shocked by the authority in her voice. Then they moved. As they scrambled to evacuate the most vulnerable, Clara stood her ground at the main junction of the hallway. She wasn't just a nurse anymore. She was the perimeter. The first infected lunged, and she swung the extinguisher, a solid, brutal arc that sent it sprawling. Another came, and she used a gurney as a battering ram, shoving it down the hall to create a temporary barrier. She was outnumbered, outmatched, but not outsmarted. She remembered the hospital's layout like the back of her hand. She knew the weak points, the choke points, the defensible positions. Using her knowledge, she began systematically locking down sections of the floor, herding the stragglers toward the evacuation route, and creating a maze of barricades with anything she could find: beds, supply carts, vending machines. She worked with a cold, terrifying efficiency that none of her co-workers had ever seen. She directed people, barked orders, and moved with a purpose that seemed almost supernatural amidst the pandemonium. You get me all the linens and alcohol you can find. You reinforce that door with the filing cabinets. People listened. In the absence of leadership, she became it. For hours, she held that perimeter. She was the immovable object against an unstoppable force. When the barricades started to fail, she'd fall back, create a new line, and hold it again. She was bruised, exhausted, and running on pure adrenaline, but she never faltered. Every soul that made it to the secure sublevel owed their life to the nurse they thought was just there to take their blood pressure. By dawn, the sounds of the horde outside had lessened, and an eerie silence fell over the hospital. Clara, leaning against a makeshift wall of medical equipment, finally allowed herself a moment to breathe. The perimeter had held. They were alive. They never expected the nurse to be their savior, the one who stood between them and the end of the world. But in the heart of the crisis, she reminded everyone that heroes come in many forms, and sometimes they wear scrubs. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you next time.